Okay, so it's been a week or so, and I grabbed this tool from my shop, from my personal tools. So I'll be able to get these off of there. Hopefully, I've gone ahead and put just a clamp on here, so I cannot put a rope in here. This just spins freely, which is why I think that the flywheel has an issue. But I just want to hold this in place, and this is the best way I thought to go ahead and do that for now. But I want to hold this in place and get these bolts off. So hopefully this clamp holds up on here. I don't think these should be super tight. And they're not. Or at least that that one was not. Okay, so not bad at all. Now there is a place on this nut. It looks like a puller can fit into here. I don't think that's actually going to be necessary in this case. I'll probably go ahead. I think this is actually loose. Yeah, this is actually loose. I think the key is sheared right off in there, but we'll just see. So to get this off, I should be able to use the rope method in the spark plug hole. The spark plug is out. So the important part here, I'm going to have to get a wrench on this thing. Okay, well, this is odd. I'm just trying to find out the right socket here. I put this on, and I was trying to get the shaft to spin, and wouldn't you know, this bolt just came right off of here. So this was loose. I'm assuming this is going to come right off. So why isn't this? Okay. And what we've got here is what appears to be this flywheel key right in here is bad. Got a little chip on it, but I'm wondering now if I tighten this back down on there, if this isn't enough of a keyway. It still might be enough of a keyway to actually get on there and work, honestly, without having to replace the flywheel, or at least try. Let's just see. So the key is right there, kind of like that. Yeah, so I wonder if tightening this up will force that key down. I wonder why this came loose. I wonder if tightening this up will force that key onto there. I'm not too hopeful about this. Probably going to have to replace the flywheel, which sucks. But maybe this will actually suck it onto that shaft. This flywheel nut right here came loose a little bit. This came up a little bit, sheared the bottom of the key off, or the side of the key off. But there's a little bit of that key left on there. It's built into this flywheel. So let's try tightening this down. This is going to be clockwise. So what I'm going to do is to get this clockwise. I want to be able to turn that nut clockwise. I want to make sure this piston is, I can just see right in the spark plug hole right there, but I want to make sure this piston is clearing any other holes like this exhaust port. Otherwise, you can run a risk of this rope getting out of one of those ports, and then you have to take the entire engine apart to fix it. So I'm going to jam, this is just a starter rope right here. I'm going to jam this down in here, turn it to the right, and it's still spinning on there. Yeah, I don't like that. Yeah. Well, let me just try torquing it down just to see what happens here. This is a 12 millimeter. See if I can get this nut torqued down a little bit. Okay. So I got that nut good and torqued on there. Back this off a little bit, get that rope out of there. I'm not too optimistic about it. In the meantime, I'm gonna go ahead and get a price on a new flywheel probably. Let's see if he wants to replace it. Let's see if my buddy wants to replace that. So we'll go ahead and get the clutch back on here real quick. And we'll just put it back together, see if it's got spark at that point. Let's just see if we were correct and all that, which I think we are, but and look who just came out here. Shop supervisor, Miley. Hello. Okay, so we're gonna get these back on. 14 millimeter. I've got the clutch back on right now, and I think what we're going to do next, before we put this thing back together, is just, if you recall, I did space this out. I thought that was maybe my initial problem, and this looked like it was slipping also, but it wasn't actually this moving. It was this flywheel had come up and gotten kind of loose and jammed over here. So a whole breakdown all happened, all because the bolt came loose in there. So that's a ding on Ryobi for sure, because this guy bought this thing brand new. He's only used it for a year at the most. So let's go ahead and put it like this. I can get this spark plug grounding out on here, and go ahead and pull this, turn the lights down a little bit, and maybe I can zoom in on this plug. We'll go ahead and check for spark. I hope the camera can pick this up if it does work. Okay, good. Got spark, we're good. Okay, so we've got spark. I'm gonna go ahead and put this housing back on, put this whole thing back together, throw some gas into it, and see if that solves everything. A little bit of gas in here. So we've got some gas in this now, and I think we're ready to fire it up, or attempt to fire it up. One thing I will say about this Ryobi right here is that the guy that brought this over here did tell me before this was happening, before this whole fuel running through this thing and pouring out of the exhaust and all these craziness, he was having a hard time starting this up. So there might be a carburetor issue happening as well. It's hard to believe that after only 1 year that would be failing. The Ryobi that I personally have and bought, it took it 8 years for the carburetor to go on me, and honestly I didn't take the greatest care of that. Okay, so I got some gas in this now, and I think we're ready to go ahead and try to do a test run. So one thing I will put out there ahead of time is that before he gave this to me and before this problem happened, about a month before that, he had been complaining that it was hard to start, but it kept working, and we talked about redoing the carburetor on it, and we never got around to it. And then he had this issue where the gas was pouring out of the thing basically, so it was inoperable at that point, so we started taking it apart. So there could still be some carburetor issues going on there. It's hard to believe that this would be having that problem after only 1 year, but I don't know what kind of gas he's running or anything like that. I don't know about the quality control on these things. I would have to say that it's not the greatest because that flywheel bolt was loose, and that is a big problem, cause a catastrophic failure. Well, not a catastrophic failure, but a pretty substantial failure that we might have caught in time, but I'm not sure. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this fired up for now. All right, guys, so I'm gonna go ahead and follow the exact steps on the side of this thing, and we're gonna see if we can get it fired up. So it is press the primer bulb 10 times. I don't know how many times that was. Close enough to 10. Set to full choke. Okay, full choke. Squeeze and hold these two. Pull the starter rope until the engine attempts to start, max 4 times. Set to half choke. 1, 2, 3, 4. Half choke. It's not very promising right now. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to go ahead and put it back to full choke and see what happens here. Well, it's not looking so good for this, so let me just go ahead and dump some fuel into the carburetor here, or into the spark plug, and see if we can get it to start that way. You can take this little dropper. Got some 2-cycle gas in here. Let's shoot that in there. And let's see if we get that around. And nothing. Okay, here we go. Try one more time. So I wonder if that flywheel has already spun on that shaft and the timing is off right now. I wonder. Yeah. Okay. So I actually have another one of these outside that I need to work on anyways. So I think we're going to get a new flywheel in here if I have it. Or do I have that? I don't know. So guys, I'm in Florida, and not for much longer, maybe a couple of months here. I just took this other Ryobi apart, and seriously, this is outside, but look at this. just sitting right in there. Poor guy. He was living in there. Little lizard. I gotta take him back out now. Okay, so I got this second Ryobi torn apart pretty much. Just in case you want to see how to get this flywheel off. Now this one is stuck on here. I've already loosened the bolt just like I did with the other one by putting a string in here. But the bolt is loose now. So I'm going to tighten it up by hand, back it off a few threads, and then whack it. So I'm just going to take a normal hammer here and put a bolt on here over top of this. I can't get the hammer in here, so I just want something solid. I'm just going to give it a nice pop, and hopefully that comes loose. Did not that time, so maybe I need to go harder. Three times the charm, maybe. And nothing. Okay, that time I got it. Yeah, this right here is what the key is supposed to look like. So I'm going to put this one to the side right now. I'm going to work on this in a different video. I have no idea what's wrong with it. Okay, so I've got the original Ryobi torn apart again. I will say I'm getting pretty quick at taking this apart now. So I'm at the flywheel. I've got the flywheel to the point where the, let's see here, the nut is off. And just like I did with the last one, I had to whack this one as well to get it to break loose. But just taking a look at the position here and the position here, pull that off. So flip this over and I can just see right there that yes, the key was not in the key. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one back on. There it is, it locks down into the key. That feels pretty good. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through this entire process again. And once this is all reassembled, we'll be back and we will do a test run. Quick note, one thing I realized while taking this one apart was that I did not need to remove this from here in order to get this entire thing off. This thing kind of slid off this last time, so let's see if I can recreate that. There it is. Okay, so that's a lot easier without having to take off these two bolts and this entire shaft right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and reassemble this and then we will be back. Okay, so it's the moment of truth. I've got it all put back together, and previously we had put some gas into this. I had tried choking it and everything like that. That was not that long ago. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep it in the run position at first here and see if we can fire this up. I'm gonna squeeze everything like you're supposed to do. Let's see what happens. And it looks like that went ahead and fixed it. So I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. I'll probably go ahead and fire it up one more time tomorrow morning, see what happens just to make sure everything is okay, and then I'll give it back to my buddy, and we'll call it good. If you liked this video and you found this useful, please be sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment below, all of the above, whatever you want to do. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.